Hello and welcome to Quiet RC. As usual, I am Rob. Today we're talking about something extremely special. This is a Yokomo MX4 empty box. But it's my original empty box. And we're going to be talking today more specifically about the Reubens Racing Products RRP RX4, which is a brand new recreation of the MX4. So let's talk about it. Oh, and I guess more specifically, this is the box. I had Ruben sign it for me. But it's one of one. He's only done one kit. The rest are all built. Shh. This is a very exciting build that's coming up here, and today we're just going to go over what's in the box.
What's in the box?
And actually, there's nothing in this box right now. What is kept in the box usually, though, is this. And this is what we're going to discuss. The Reubens Racing Products, or RRP, RX4, which is their reboot, shall we say, of the MX4 by Yokomo. This is actually my original box from the Yokomo that I purchased back in probably 99 or 2000, maybe 98, when I was working at Al's Hobby Shop in Elmhurst. In the box for all these years was actually my original RC10T that I had been trying to convert into an RPM Worlds back in the day, and then put it in the box and left it there for 20 plus years. Unfortunately, when I was in college, I sold my MX4 on eBay, pretty much just for beer money, and this is what I got in return.
Hold up.
Now, towards the end of last year, I started poking around and seeing like, oh, maybe I'll find an MX4 new in box and I can build one. It's not really a thing. Like, they're not out there. However, I was put on to RRP. I reached out to Ruben at RRP and got on his list to get one of these. At some point, I asked him, I said, can I get it in a kit format? And Ruben obliged. And now we'll get into what he actually did for me, which is some incredible work. I am probably going to refer to this many times as an MX4 versus an RX4, which is technically what it's called. The reason that it's called a RX4 is the original MX4, the M stood for Masami, as in Masami Hirosaka, probably the GOAT when it comes to all types of RC racing. He helped develop the original MX4. The M became Masami X all-wheel drive 4. There you go. Keith over at RC Icons actually just released a video, and he goes into a little bit more depth on the history of the MX4. So I'm not going to go into it here. If you want more history on the MX4, I'd head over to there. Take 1 minute here to ask you to please like and subscribe to the channel. Turn those notifications on. Obviously, this is a build that's coming up. Behind me, you see a bunch of builds that are going to be coming up. If this is the first time on the channel, you might not realize, but I'm actually kind of downstairs in my workshop. I usually film upstairs, but I don't know, I think I'll be bouncing back and forth between filming at these two locations for those of you that have been here before. I'll probably just end up referring it to the MX4 a lot, so apologies to Ruben for excising his letter out of the model that he built. What was awesome is when it arrived, I popped open the box and there was actually a full letter from Ruben in there, and I think it's worth reading. Dear Rob, I truly appreciate your interest in this amazing project, an endeavor that I proudly started with RRP in early 2023. In a short period of time, I was able to accomplish a task that was perceived as impossible to many in the RC industry. I recreated a masterpiece originally engineered by the legendary Masaki Hirosaka, the MX4 prototype. This 1/10 scale four-wheel drive buggy has now been brought back to life in its original form and specification. It was through the support of many passionate RC hobbyists like yourself that I found the encouragement and drive to remanufacture and build this iconic and rare piece. I am now pleased and honored to share this recreation and journey with you. I here present you with an elite RC car model that was meticulously built by me with the highest quality materials available. I hope you will enjoy and cherish this creation and keep it as a centerpiece in your RC collection. Thank you for your business and being an ongoing supporter of my work. I here certify this letter that I am delivering car ID, serial number RX4-P013, build date February 2024. Best regards, Ruben. That was the pretty nice letter that is included with that. Definitely going to keep that with the kit, the car, the box, everything like that, because that's a special piece here. You'll notice that the serial number was 013. This is actually the 10th car that he's built. I was the 10th person to get on his original pre-order list. However, I reached out to him again. I said, "You're engraving these chassis. 13 is kind of my lucky number. Would you mind?" And he totally obliged. That was pretty cool on him. One other thing that's cool is my birthday is March 13th, and he was able to get it to me just a couple days before my birthday this year, which is a great birthday present. So thank you, Ruben, for getting it here. Pretty much just said when you said it would, it just kind of happened to fall in the right time. Started to gather some vintage electrics to go into the car. The GM V12 ESC that you see here is just like the one that I had back in the day. It had been in a few different of my cars. I think the last thing it might have been in was my RC12L3, which is a little bit of an overkill for that car. But at the time, I was doing speed runs before I really knew what speed runs were. Also have the Tekin FM that they offered back in the day. I remember getting this specifically because it was so small. This is back in the day when small receivers weren't that common. When I eventually stepped up to my Airtronics M8, that's when I kind of first was able to use the smaller blue receivers from Airtronics. The motor that I have went on to the Yokomo Vintage Facebook groups and said, "Hey, do you remember what people were running in four-wheel drive off-road buggies back in the day?" The overwhelming response was Sonic 2s and like around 10 turns, which I actually had. I don't have a huge brush motor collection, but I actually happen to have a Sonic 2 question mark. The question mark stood for 10-turn double, so I was perfectly set for a kind of matching vintage motor to go in the car. And that kind of rounds out the electrics. So now that I have this, I started laying everything out. This is where you can really see what he's actually sourced as new in package Yokomo parts versus what he's actually either manufactured or has sourced to be built for this kit as new parts that are actually created for this RX4 or MX4. The first and obvious thing that stands out is the chassis itself. You can see here that he's engraved it with the RRP logo. He's engraved it with my serial number. Super cool. So we're gonna make sure that that stays nice and prevalent on there when I build it. Don't have a manual for it. Ruben actually said that he wants to do some sort of kind of manual for it eventually. However, nothing right now. Competition X actually has it available on their website to download, which is a steal at $350. So let's get into the actual bags here. So he's bagged them, parts A through H, and then there's also kind of some miscellaneous bags that are there. I don't recall original Yokomo packaging was done, so we'll have to see if, when I eventually download the manual, if those parts bags actually match up. Don't know, we'll find out. But either way, it's laid out very succinctly, so I'll be able to figure something out for sure. The shocks themselves, they may be from Fan RC because Fan RC is actually recreating team-associated shocks for a lot of kind of vintage RC10 builds. So I'm not sure if these are actually Fan RC shocks that he's put in there. You can see that he actually, Ruben creates belts and he sells those separately now. So you can actually buy those now. They're not specifically just made for this kit that he's producing. You can go buy those off of his website now. The spur gear in this package is a new old stock. You can see the Yokomo header card on it. I'm not sure if the spur gear is really specific to the MX4 or if Ruben was just able to get a new old stock one, so he did. Comment below if you know offhand if the Yokomo spur gears were specific to fitting the MX4. I do love these wheels. The kit, and if you were to order this kit from RRP, they do supply the wheel dots for you that actually cover the whole wheel, But I kind of love the spokes on the wheel, so I may leave those off at least for a while. Maybe later down the road I'll put the wheel dots on. I don't recall off the top of my head right now if I had put the wheel dots on my original MX4. I don't think I did. Now this one was a little tough. I asked him, you know, what tires are coming with it, and he said that people were using these low-C taper pins, and these are new old stock as well. Now I've always been an Associated guy, so this is going to be a tough one to put low-C tires on my Yokomo, but I suppose I'll somehow soldier on. Other thing that he sent me, now he actually sent me the tires and the body and the underpan separately. So it's an original Yokomo MX4 body and an undercover. I know a lot of people, when they are ordering these from RRP, are getting Masami tributes or other replicas of various cars. But for me, this was always about recreating my MX4. That being said, I'm not sure if I want to go with which of my kind of classic liveries that nobody's ever seen before. I want to do this in. Now I have kind of this multicolored kind of tiger stripe one, I guess is the way you can kind of put it. And then I also have this kind of teal and neon yellow kind of tearaway that we're doing here. So this is one of my current bodies. Now this one is actually used on my Carton M210. And this is kind of that multicolored tiger stripe, which I love the colors. And this is the other paint scheme. This is closer to the one that was on my original MX4, which this is kind of this asymmetrical kind of tearaway, but it does require a lot of skill with the airbrush, and my skills are spotty. This one in particular turned out fairly decently, but sometimes they can really kind of go off. Ruben did supply decals with the car, and for sure some of his decals are going on the car, even though obviously those weren't original to my car. The one that I love though is the actual Yokomo decal that goes on that front shock tower. You know, it's on the box that way, and I'm pretty sure I had it on mine that way because I do love that. So that's a decal that's included with the kit. So I'll definitely be doing that. And then when he did send the tires and the body separately, I asked him, hey, if you got any other decals laying around, I will absolutely take. The last part of this, as I kind of repackaged all this up and put everything away, they're into the Reubens supplied box, the RRP supplied box. The box itself almost fits exactly inside the original MX4 box. Maybe this was done intentionally, but maybe not. I don't know. However, it's about maybe a few millimeters, 10 millimeters too high, too tall to fit in the box. But when you pack it all away, it works. And I kind of like that I can put it back in my original MX4 box to kind of recreate the whole process. I'm gonna box it back up and just put it away for a little while. I'm not gonna take too long between filming this unboxing and actually building it. I'm really excited to get out. You know, we're just starting to get spring cracking here in Indianapolis. In fact, today is the day of the eclipse.
A solar eclipse. The cosmic ballet goes on.
Does anyone want to switch seats?
So I'm filming this and hopefully getting out there to look directly into the sun. We'll put this one away for just a moment. No, not like that, not like that. Just over here. Please like and subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be reminded of new builds coming up, especially this one. We'll see you, thank you, and we'll talk RC again later.